It's a definition question, of course, which we maybe should do, but it's a timing question as well. When is what is hyper Bitcoinization? What is a cycle, and when will it happen? Because that's for an investor, of course, the important thing. But yeah, I look at it a little bit different from a pure investment point of view. I would say first that drops of -50% and -80% will happen again, just because the volatility is in the market. It's a yeah, it's a part of Bitcoin. No other market has this volatility. There are, we had a -50% drop with the mining ban thing a couple of months ago. That was, well, not a really big event, but still a structural event. And then, but -50%, right? So I think things like fear and greed in investors and people will be here to stay. Humans will not be different, and they will freaking out again when maybe the US bans it. Well, I don't think that's not going to happen, but something will happen. The introduction of the central bank digital currencies, the tightening news of know your customer, and you can't exchange it to fiat anymore. Whatever, some bug, some big entities selling because they don't believe in it anymore. I don't know what the trigger will be, but there will be panic, and people will freak out. Liquidations will come, and it will drop down. Yeah, I think that's part of the market. That's part of the charm as well of Bitcoin. So that will happen. That's the one thing. So greed and fear are here to stay. -50%. We just had that. -80% wouldn't surprise me. The second thing is, I reason from stores of value. So alternative investments. If I have a large sum of money, what are my alternatives? So it's equity, it's bond, and if you look at the commodity space or the non-financial asset space, it's gold, and it's real estate, basically diamonds maybe. But yeah, and so that's of course the stock to flow X model. I'm reasoning like an investor, like why would I put my money in real estate, or why in gold, or why in Bitcoin? And there are several aspects to what makes a store of value or money better than another one, and one is the visibility, another is portability, the classic fungibility, and scarcity. So I am not surprised at all that the real estate market is just so much bigger, larger than gold market. And I'm also not surprised that Bitcoin is a little smaller than the gold market. But as soon as Bitcoin, after the next halving, or really this halving, we should get really close to gold market cap. And after next halving, it would really surprise me if an asset that is recognized by the market as a store of value, that has, say, more than $1 trillion in value, if that store of value with bigger scarcity than gold would not at least be valued higher than gold, so somewhere between gold and real estate, 10 trillion and 100 trillion roughly. So in that sense, I think differently about the 4-year cycle. I think it's not, so the halving is important, not because of the miners selling, the sell pressure from because that's already neglectable. Like Willie said, I mean, a big exchange is maybe bigger than some of the big miners, and add to that the ETFs and all the other sell pressure. So I think the selling pressure of the miner is not the thing. I think the fact that the scarcity is larger than gold is a fact, and investors notice that. They know it. Investors know that if gold can be made, if there's a new gold mine, of course that takes years to make it operational, but it can be found, a new source of gold And then there will be a big supply. In fact, supply of gold has grown over the years, but with Bitcoin, you know for sure that that will never be more. So basically, this is it. There's 19 or 18.8 million Bitcoins, and that approaches the 20 and then the 21 million. But this is it. So yeah, it is from a scarcity point of view and alternative investments like gold and real estate, that I think the halving still will be an impulse for investors, because they will recognize and see Bitcoin for what it is, a really scarce asset and valuable at that. Then to conclude, I do think if the stock flow of Bitcoin will be bigger than even real estate, so above 100, and that basically is the case after next halving, but and certainly after the halving in 2028, but let's say 2024, when we go over real estate, then it will be the most portable, most divisible, most fungible, and also the most scarce asset on the planet. I think investors will see that, and that combination will probably mean that people are going to see Bitcoin not as a store of value, but as in money. And that will trigger the hyper-Bitcoinization. So you could also say that Willie and I are saying the same thing. The hyper-Bitcoinization will be there eventually, but I think that will happen after the next halving and after Bitcoin has at least a stock to flow of 100 and maybe 200, but much bigger than real estate.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.